This is Win News.
Tonight, police step up their hunt for an arsonist who started the Hazelwood fire. Residents mask up as the smoke deals traders a blow. And help for young war veterans. Good evening, I'm Bruce Roberts. Also tonight, a fresh appeal for witnesses to early morning assaults in Traralgon. Crews battling two major coal fires in the Hazelwood open cut have faced some of the toughest conditions seen since they started 2 weeks ago. Hot and windy conditions saw extra resources brought in to protect land and infrastructure around the mine. It comes as Victoria's Chief Commissioner made a public appeal to find the arsonist responsible.
Police made their appeal for the public's help in Melbourne, but they say it's a local or a group of locals who are responsible for lighting the 3 fires on the Strzelecki highway that spread into the Hazelwood mine. The arson was so calculated, 2 test fires were lit on O'Hara's Road in the lead up to a string of fires at 1:30 on February 9.
This fire was set on the worst fire day this year and had the potential to cause an enormous amount of damage and loss of life.
Back in the valley, crews faced the toughest conditions seen since the fire started 2 weeks ago. Extra resources were brought in to protect critical infrastructure.
Yeah, we put in strategies, mineral earth breaks, sprinkler systems in place, and we're bringing in 2 strike teams to protect that area.
The adjacent briquette factory was among the major concerns.
We will have resources sitting there. The other thing that we'll have is we'll have an aircraft above watching, constantly watching for any little breakout that may occur, and we'll jump on it as quickly as we can.
This afternoon those fears were realised, with crews forced to chase a grass fire from the mine. Roads were blocked as a watch and act message was issued for the communities of Churchill, Hazelwood South and Traralgon South. The fire was quickly brought under control. Inside the mine, work is continuing to douse the northern batters with compressed air foam.
The strategy around that is to reduce the smoke levels over the community of Morwell and Morwell South. 2
additional CAF units are on the way as forward-looking infrared aircraft continue to see a reduction in heat in the northern batters.
From New South Wales and another one from ACT to supplement what we're already doing. That will help us blanket and cool the fire.
While a very hot sinkhole at the base of the southern batter is posing yet another challenge. An exclusion zone is in place around the hole as authorities work closely with GDF sewers on a plan to make the area safe.
They will use water to put pressure on the slippage as it is and let it move further down the batter. And then once it does that, it would then be considered stable.
Brooke Van Newton, Win News.
Morwell residents have started to don face masks as they report an increase in the incidence of stinging eyes, sore throats and respiratory complaints. It comes as interstate EPA crews continue to record high levels of smoke in the town. Here's Brooke Van Newton again.
On loan from Tasmania, 2 mobile smoke monitoring units have added to the EPA's fleet of monitoring stations.
Victoria doesn't have one of these, but we've brought 2 over from Tasmania. We've been training the local EPA people in their use, and we're leaving 1 for the duration of the incident.
This morning they were recording high levels of smoke on the south side of Morwell.
We're picking up to 800 micrograms per cubic metre, which are really quite high. That's some of the highest we've had down here in the south of Morwell.
The gas, the fumes, the ash, there's ash right through our house. There's a layer of ash over everything. You can't touch anything with it being covered in grit.
Visiting from EPA Tasmania, John Innes says he's never seen anything like it.
The only comparable incident I've seen was a tyre depot fire a couple of years ago where we had a tyre depot burn for 3 days.
Authorities have begun distributing 25,000 face masks in the town.
It just tastes terrible, yeah. You feel all the grit and everything like that, and it's burning your mouth and your throat, and it definitely gets into your eyes.
Many Morwell residents have voluntarily evacuated.
People as far away as the northern boundary of Morwell have also relocated. I spoke to a woman this morning who's taken 2 children who are asthmatic to Melbourne on the doctor's advice.
Today, concerns reached Melbourne Radio.
It's a complete disaster.
Is it? So how bad is the air?
Oh, terrible. My 7-year-old, she's just feeling sick and very tired and run down.
While the smoke isn't contained to Morwell.
7 o'clock this morning, our visibility was down to less than 200 metres.
The Department of Health is urging residents to take heed of the warnings and utilise both the respite facility at Morwell and the Health Assessment Centre in Morwell. Slater and Gordon too has been inundated with calls from concerned residents.
We're getting probably 2 or 3 calls an hour.
It has some advice for the community.
To keep records of the various illnesses that they're suffering, and it's not a bad idea to take photographs of the dust in the house.
While Morwell MP Russell North has hit back at claims nothing's being done.
The fact is there's hundreds of people here on the ground dealing with this particular incident from a range of different agencies.
Brooke Van Newton, Win News.
And Morwell business owners fear they'll be forced to close if the smoke emerging from the Hazelwood mine continues to shroud the town. Several businesses along the popular shopping strip have already closed indefinitely.
Usually a bustling hub of activity, Morwell's shopping strip is looking more like a ghost town.
Even Commercial Road, where most car parks were taken, there was about 6 cars in the whole town. And that, on Saturday morning, is a no-no.
Shrouding the street, smoke from the Hazelwood fire is forcing people indoors. Business owners say they're feeling the pinch.
The amount of people that I had a few weeks ago before the fire started, that I had booked, now I don't have them. I've got hardly any clients booked in.
I've dropped half my normal turnover, maybe even more.
The last fortnight clientele is definitely down.
Several businesses along Morwell's main shopping strip were forced to close this week. Others fear they'll have to follow suit.
We can't keep our business open. How long can you survive without your business or an income?
If it goes on for another month, and a lot of people left town, I've still got to pay rent, got to pay this, got to pay that, got to pay wages. I'll have to close up.
They're now looking for help.
Our businesses are suffering and we're begging for the state government to give us some help.
The Latrobe City Council is door-knocking businesses, collecting information on the fire's impact. As of next week, it will offer assistance in the form of a small business mentoring program. Russell North has also jumped on board, backing a relief committee.
Whether you have a committee that consists of people from the business fraternity, local residents, maybe local groups and organisations such as Advance Mall and others, then that's something that we absolutely should be considering.
Alexandria Dadzimarkis, Win News.
High winds breathe new life into the Hazelwood coal fire, which police are now convinced was deliberately lit. Good evening, Ian Henderson with ABC News. The operator of the Hazelwood power plant had to evacuate some staff this afternoon after fire spread from the nearby open cut to grassland near their building. The fight to contain the fire near Morwell is now in its 12th day. And as Karen Percy reports, investigators are now of the view it was probably deliberately lit.
Increased temperatures and a shift in winds meant firefighters were struggling with an already difficult site when fire spread from the coal mine to grasslands by the power plant. GDF Suez, which runs the plant, says staff in an administration block were evacuated after reporting smoke. Victoria Police believe the fire burning here since February 9th was partly started by one or more arsonists who are thought to have set fire to grassland and pine forest, which then spread to the nearby mine. Investigators have found evidence of fires being lit at 3 sites along a 3-kilometre stretch of the Strzelecki Highway to the southwest of the mine. The first was started around 1:30 p.m. on February 9th, the last 15 minutes later.
The locations of these fires is parallel dirt tracks leading into plantations behind the Strzelecki Highway, easy getaway routes, etc.
That there's someone that has definitely thought about putting fire in the environment at the worst part of the day, at the hottest part of the day, and when a wind chain was forecast.
While the fire is now half the size, fighting it has been a challenge, with a front as long as 3 kilometres, much of it on the vertical coalface. As much as 200 hectares has burned. The fire service is hoping to control it in the next 2 weeks, but admits it might take longer. Karen Percy, ABC News, Melbourne.
This is 9 News with Peter Hitchner.
Good evening. Police are hunting a calculated and malicious firebug who started the Morwell blaze. Flames are now racing toward the Hazelwood power station after leaping from the open-cut mine to nearby grassland. Live to Laura Turner. Laura, how serious is the situation there?
Good evening, Peter. Well, the behaviour of this blaze changed dramatically late this afternoon. As you can probably see from the 9 News chopper, this fire is ferocious. As we speak, it leapt from the open-cut mine into nearby grassland late this afternoon. Firefighters had to stage a frantic fight then to stop it spreading to the power station. We know, though, at the moment that some machinery is already lost, including 2 conveyor belts. There are at the moment aerial bombers and ladder platforms trying to douse this fire with water and foam. But at the moment, they're not having a lot of luck. The whole area is choked with black smoke. The other thing we know, Pete, at the moment is that police are now blaming this blaze on an arsonist.
We know that at 1:30 p.m, again on the 9th of February this year, 3 different fires were lit on the Strzelecki Highway at Driffield. This person has shown a total disregard for life and property. It is very, very worrying that this person is still in our community.
Now, Morwell residents are still suffering from the smoke and ash today as well, and to learn this afternoon that this is the work of an arsonist, well, they were disgusted.
We're outraged to think that a senseless person or people have been involved in this that has brought our community into problems.
Well, it's a damn disgrace, really. You know, there should be something really done about it.
Now, there's a watch and act message out at the moment for Churchill and surrounding areas. There's also a number of road closures. Police have blocked the Princess Highway at Furman's Lane in Morwell, and there are a number of closures of the Princess Highway in Churchill as well. Pete?
Thanks, Laura.